The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele says banks will continue to accept old Naira notes after the stipulated deadline. The Apex Bank governor made this known when he appeared before the House of Representatives ad-hoc committee on the currency redesign and Naira swap policy following the growing agitations across Nigeria over the current scarcity of the new notes. News Centre's Odusoga has more.
There is a growing agitation over the scarcity of the newly redesigned Naira note in Nigeria. Bank customers are stranded at both ATM galleries or point of sale agents in their bids to access cash.
Central Bank of Nigeria have extended the currency swap deadline, but this is coming at a cost. While this should ordinarily mean convenience for many who are still yet to deposit their old currencies, this is causing a large number of cash scarcity, especially for the informal sector.
Because if you're asking people to deposit money, right, by the same token, you should also make money available to people and the new currency at that. But what we have seen now is that the government is putting the people at disadvantage because they are taking the money from the people and they are not giving money to the public.
Deposit money banks have been ordered to make payments of the new Naira note only via the automated teller machines and not over the counter. But here is where the problem is. Many of these automated teller machines are not dispensing cash.
POS agents in the country who have for the longest time bridged the gap between unbanked, the informal sector and the formal sector by cash are all finding it hard to access the new note.
It has not been easy because since yesterday the bank are not giving us cash. And the funniest part is they asked us to go and deposit our money, old money. And we went to deposit on Sunday. When we get to bank on Monday, they were telling us that CBN said they should not give money to anybody. And today, if you want to withdraw from bank, they can only give you 20,000. And for that 20,000, it has to be 50 Naira or 20 Naira.
While the CBN policy was expected to curb vote buying and reduce currency in circulation, Professor Ofili Igudioha says implementation is now losing its relevance.
Bringing out this policy is a good policy, but the implementation of it becomes a problem. I don't know whether it has to do with CBN's staff inability to manage the process, or whether it has to do with the system in Nigeria that we are always good at issuing out policies, but not good at implementing such policies.
Appearing before the members of the House of Representatives on Tuesday, the governor of the Apex Bank says banks will now continue to accept old Naira note even after the deadline. The Apex Bank had earlier extended the currency swap deadline from January 31st to February 10th to allow for the collection of more old notes. Adesewa Odusoga reporting for News Central.
Muktar Mohammad, financial analyst and CEO of Asheer Dynamic Solutions, joins me now to unpack this latest development. Muktar, good to see you. And finally, looks as if we're getting word from the CBN, but now let's take this into some of the bigger concerns, specifically of politicians. As the bank has said, banks will continue to accept the old Naira notes even after the deadline. Will this defeat the purpose of preventing vote buying with limited trackable new notes in circulation and online transactions 25 days to the election?
Thank you, Slaman. I think we must get it clear. The challenge is not in the return of the old Naira note. The most challenge is being returning the old Naira note to get a new Naira note. So the CBN has not gotten it right. It's saying, oh, you return the old Naira note. What about getting the new Naira note when you return the old Naira note? And why the CBN governor made that statement was because the Nigerian Bar Association, remember, and also some members of the House of Representatives took him back to the CBN Act to let him know that what he's doing is illegal. Now, he's not saying, he's saying we will still receive the old Naira note, but by on the 10th of this month, the old Naira note stop being a legal tender. So it's all about receiving. You can receive as long as you have the money, you bring it for them to sign, to collect. I don't know how long, I will have to look at the act, how long you may have to do that. But in the side of being a legal tender, it ceased to be a legal tender on the 10th of February. So there's nothing that he has done differently or about coping vote buying. Slavan, you must understand that the politicians have had their way if what we are seeing in social media is anything to go by. Because these new Naira notes are available, but they are available to very few people, and we know who those few people are.
Well, that's a disturbing soundbite. We know who those people are. But again, let's explore other implications this may have on the Apex Bank's cashless policy and the economy. Some have said that in rural areas, it's still almost impossible to have a cashless-based, environment.
Yeah, the reporter said it all. It's the informal sector that in the rural area, and this informal sector is driven by cash. Most of them don't have bank account, not because they don't want to have. Banks are not close to their location. Some of them have to travel up to like 30 to 1 hour. You know, the security challenges that we have in the country also is not helping for this financial inclusion. So definitely the informal sectors are the ones suffering, and the masses are the ones suffering. And so I think the CBN also have not done well in the fact that I expected that right from October, when they made mention of this policy, they should have sent the National Rotation Agency, they talk to the traditional rural account trials, and have the super agent that they are having 2 weeks to the expiration of the deadline for return of old Naira notes. So be there in the villages by now. So I think the CBN got it all wrong. Maybe they were not up to their game, and those that were about to sabotage the policy were more up to their game than the CBN, because I don't see any reason why you come out and you say you have printed enough note. If what Aisha Ahmed, the deputy governor, is anything to go by, say they have printed about 500 million notes, and all of a sudden up till now, 90% of Nigeria, if I'm not saying 90, but maybe 95% of Nigeria have not seen this new note. And those that have, the 5% that have seen those new notes are politicians, are people that goes, take it to the party. The EFCC have come out that they have arrested some people, but these people they are arrested, we don't even know anything about them. We don't even know who are these people behind those that have been arrested. No culprits have been taken to court. So definitely, it seems to be there's a lot of issues that the more you see, the less you understand.
And now let's see if we can close on what the EFCC and the DSS have both done lately, so, going against what they call a syndicate. We woke up Sunday in Nigeria and we started getting to see people selling the Naira notes at party venues, religious places. Do you think what the two agencies have started, investigations on will actually yield some future result for the Nigerian people?
Salman, if the CBN governor comes out and told us that 900 billion have not found their way back into the banking space, and the AFCC is not investigating 900 billion, and the AFCC is going after those that are taking some of this money in parties, and up to this moment, we've not seen anybody being paraded as one of the suspects. We just had a syndicate. The DSS refused to tell us. After that, 2 days later, the EFCC are telling us. So for now, I don't think that has helped anything, because if it has helped, then we would have seen those notes in the bank. As for this moment, or if you've gone through the banks today, it has still been, it's even more chaotic than it was on Friday. Banks, ATM are not dispensing. Banks, you go into the banking hall, they are not dispensing. If you want to withdraw from your corporate account, they tell you they'll give you either 100 Naira note or 50 Naira note, because that is what CBN said they should do. In short, some of the bankers are even calling you behind to say, look, we still have the old Naira note. If you want it, we can still give it to you. as much as you want. And then they give you that old note, then again, you are fighting your way to bring it back in 10 days time, and yet you will not get the new note. So what EFCC or DSS are doing, we've not seen any result. The only time we believe them is when we begin to have access to this new note. Legitimate. I know they are trying to drive a cashless policy. They are trying to mop up liquidity to address inflation. I know they will not print as much as what we are taking back to the bank, but at least, I mean, the rural people, those ordinary Nigerians, they are not coming there to withdraw 500,000 or 1 million. Some of them are there to withdraw as little as 5,000 naira, and yet they cannot withdraw. So I think whatever the DSS and the EFCC are doing, for as it stands now, I don't think it's enough. They should do more.
Muktar, Mohammad, many thanks for speaking with us.
My pleasure.